Let's take a look at our Unit 4 Day 3 word problems. Remember I made you guys do a 2x4 fold. Let's start in that top left-hand corner of your 2x4 fold. Also remember that when we do these word problems here, I don't want you to copy down the problems. I just want you guys to copy down the work with me. So you guys will be in each one of your boxes, when instructed, be copying down these boxes that say define variable, set up inequality, solve, and eventually do your English translation. Okay, so let's take a look. Karen has $4 to spend in the arcade. The game she likes costs 50 cents per play. Write and solve an inequality that shows the possible number of times that she can play. Okay, and all these problems, I want you guys to define your variable. So it's asking us a question here for the possible number of times that she can play. So let's say that X is number of times she can play. Okay, then they want you to set up and eventually solve an inequality. Well, she has $4 total to spend. Okay, so I'll write down my 4. And then it says it costs her 50 cents per play. Well, if X is the number of times she can play, then it should be 50 cents per each one of those times, or 0.50 times X. Then the question becomes, what is the inequality that should go between those? Should the 0.50x be greater than or less than the 4? Should it be greater than or equal to, less than or equal to? Well, let's talk about it. If you've got $4 to spend, you could spend $4. So this inequality could be equal to 4. Okay? But also, you won't be able to spend more than that $4. You could spend less because she could play, well, no, maybe just once or twice. So that 0.50x needs to be less than or equal to 4. Let's begin to solve. This is just a one-stepper. We're dividing away that 0.50. Okay, when we do, that's not going to flip our inequality. We're going to get X is less than or equal to 8. That means she can play up to 8 times. On the bottom there, that's what I want to write for an English translation. I want to write something in English that says exactly what that X is less than or equal to 8. So, Karen can play at most 8 times. Okay? Give the one next to this a shot, the one about Megan, and do that right there in that top right-hand corner. Go for it. Okay. Megan is making quilts that require 11 feet of cloth each. She has 55 feet of cloth. Write and solve an inequality that depicts the number of quilts that she can make. Okay, what they're asking for is number of quilts. So X equals number of quilts. Okay. Each one of those quilts, the X, require 11 feet of cloth. So that's 11 times the number of quilts. She only has 55 feet of cloth. So we have to decide what's the inequality that's going to go in there. Well, it can be equal to 55. It can be less than 55, but it can't be greater than. So here we have the same inequalities we have on the left. It's going to be less than or equal to. Let's begin to solve. So you divide by your 11. She could have less than or equal to 5. So for your English translation, you should write something like, Megan can make at most 5 quilts. Okay. Let's go to the second row. Once again, remember, don't copy down these problems. Just copy down the work. Okay, we are right here on that second row of problems. 8 more than the product of -3 in a number is more than -40. Write and solve an inequality to find the number. Okay, look for your question mark, find the word find. They're asking us to find the number. So X is just the number. Okay, this will require some direct translation here. 8 more than the product. Now, notice the difference between this more than, and down here it says is more than. We're going to discuss the difference between those two as we translate the problem. With 8 more than, that's just 8 plus. The product of negative 3 and a number, well, that's just negative 3 times x, is more than. Okay, when it says is more than, remember that is implies some sort of equality or inequality. If it's saying is more than, it's saying that this expression over here is going to be bigger than negative 40. Okay, and if all that's true, then we should be able to solve for x and eventually figure out what number would satisfy that sentence. So let's see. Let's begin to solve. Subtract your 8. Divide by your negative 3. Oh, I'm dividing by a negative. I need to make sure I flip that inequality. I'm going to get x is less than 16. Okay. For my English translation, I'm going to write the number is less than 16. Okay. Give the one over here to the right a try. Same type of problem, a little bit different. That's going to go right there on the second row. Go for it. Okay. Once again, they're asking us for the number here. Okay. When we set up the inequality, 10 less than twice a number. All right, that less than. Remember, that's implying subtraction. It means you're going to take 10 away from something. Well, the something is twice a number. I'm going to take 10 less than that. Make sure we have our order correct there. Because remember, subtraction, the order does matter. And it's saying that it is less than negative 24. So all that expression has to be less than negative 24. All right, let's solve. Now I'm going to divide by 2 here. Now remember, we're dividing by a positive 2, so that inequality will not flip. For your English translation, we should write something like the number is less than negative 7. Okay. Next row here. More words. Let's roll through it. Jamie has a job paying $25,000 and expects to receive $1,000 raise each year. We has a job that paying $19,000 a year and expects to receive a $1,500 raise each year. Write and solve an inequality to determine what span of time is Jamie making more money than we. Okay, so what span of time? Well, they're talking about years, so X is going to be number of years. Okay. As we set up this inequality, we're going to have one expression for Jamie and one expression for we. And then we got to figure out, do they want Jamie to be more than or less than we, and so forth. If they say in their question, what span of time is Jamie making more money than we, then we should expect the inequality to be eating Jamie, saying that Jamie is greater. Okay, so let's come up with an expression for Jamie. She's getting paid $25,000 a year with $1,000 raise each year. Okay, so she's going to start at $25,000 plus $1,000 for each year. So 1,000x. We starts at $19,000, and he's going to be added on $1,500 each year. And of course, they want to know for what span of time is Jamie greater than we. Okay, let's solve for this. Notice we have variables on both sides. Here's a situation where we're going to need to collect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 1,000x from both sides. Okay. Then I'm going to start to solve. So I'm going to subtract 19,000. Same strategy as any other problem. These just numbers are starting to get a little bit bigger. No sweat. That's going to be 6,000 and 500x. Let's divide away that 500. It's a positive 500, so we're not going to be switching anything. It's going to be x is less than whatever this number is here, and that will end up being 12. Okay? Now, for our English translation, notice that x is not the one being eaten here, so x is less than 12. So in what span of time? Okay, Jamie makes more money for, let's see, I want to set this in a different way. I'll put it this way. The span of time, the number of years, is less than 12. Okay, so the number of years is less than 12. Okay, give a shot to the one over here on the right. Okay, they want to know for what numbers of minutes will Sophia type more words than Patton. Okay, so let's go with number of minutes. Okay, let's see here. Sophia types 75 words per minute and is just starting to write her term paper. Okay, so Sophia here hasn't typed any words yet. So we're just going to say that she types 75 words per minute, so 75 times x. Patton has already typed 510 words, and then she's going to be adding 60 words per minute. Okay, well, they want to know for what numbers of minutes will Sophia have more words typed than Patton. So Sophia needs to be greater than Patton. Okay, let's solve. We need to collect, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 60x from both sides. Okay, then we'll divide away that 15. This may not come out to be a perfect answer, but that's all right. It actually ends up being 34. So, awesome. Okay. Okay, so for this to be true here, x has to be greater than 34. So our English translation here, x is the number of minutes. So the number of minutes is more than 34. Okay. We're going to stop here, and then we're going to go ahead and watch the second video to finish up our notes. So hang with me.